Hi, it's Kristen, and I am letting TBR cards choose what I read next. So, last Christmas, my sister got me these TBR cards which have prompts on them that are supposed to help you decide what you're going to read next if you're an indecisive reader or to overcome your TBR overwhelm, as they say. I was gonna make this video ages ago and then I kept putting it off, and then I came up with a bunch of other video ideas, but recently all the video ideas I've been coming up with and have been like, I need to get that out, I need to get that out, were making me feel quite restricted because it was like reading a certain type of book, reading only books by this author, reading this kind of book, and I was just getting a bit like, I have no time to just read randomly, because I felt like I had to be reading pirate books for the pirate vlog that's just gone up. I have a few other ideas for vlogs that I was then just feeling quite stuck by, because I was like, oh, what if I'm not in the mood to read that genre, but that whole video is all about just reading that genre. I'm still quite indecisive about things, so I thought it's a way to mood read but be prompted towards a certain kind of book. So for example, these prompts are like, choose a book which has become a TV show or movie. So that'll help me narrow down my selection, but is still allowing me to sort of mood read, because I have quite a lot of books on my TBR. So instead of looking at my TBR and going, I don't know what to read, it'll at least narrow it down from, like, depending on what the prompts are, to, I can pick something out of these 5 books, out of these 10 books. So I'm still picking what I'm in the mood for, but I'm not overwhelmed by my entire TBR, and I'm not like curating my options down to like, it has to be this book. So I'm going to try out these TBR cards. I've not used them before, so I'm just going to pick out the top card because I feel like I don't need to shuffle it if I've not used it before. So we have my first prompt. Choose a book which has a season in the title. This might actually be difficult. I'm going to go have a look at my TBR and then I will come back. If I ever pick a card out of here that I really don't have anything for, I will just pick another card. But I'm gonna go assess what I've got. I must have a spring, summer, autumn, winter somewhere. Would be good if it was summer. Let's go see. So we're now at my TBR shelves. My initial thought that came to my mind was A New York Winter's Tale by Mark Halperin. Although I don't really want to read that because it's a wintry book and I'm in the middle of summer. And then I looked up and I thought, oh, I've got Rebel Spring. This has been on my TBR for a long time, one of the oldest books on my TBR. But it's a sequel, so I don't really want to read this for a vlog where you've not seen me read the first book. Then I thought, the 5th season, although the prompt was a season in the title, not just season. And then I thought, hold on, Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. This would be perfect for the summer. It's also a YA, and I sort of want to get to my YA sooner rather than later because I've grown out of YA a bit over the years. I still read some, but not a ton, and I think it's better to get to my YA sooner rather than later. So I think this is what I'm going to go for because those are the only seasons I think I have. So I think we're going Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. So I have been reading Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. This is about Taylor, who's this teenage girl, and her family have all gone to their lake house for the summer. They've not been there as a family for like 5 years. Something happened with Taylor the last time she was there. She like fell out with her friend, and her like
childhood boyfriend. The last time she was there, I still don't know what happened, even though I'm like 100 or so pages into the book. That's still not been fully revealed. But her family have gone back there because her dad has just been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and so he's been told they've only got a few months left together, and so he's like, let's go back, have like an old school family summer as his last summer with his family. It's got like good summer vibes to it so far. Obviously they're by a lake. She's got a job at like a beach snack bar. Obviously there is this whole like underlying sadness to the plot, so it's not like a fun summer read. But yeah, I am. How far into it am I? I'm 166 pages into it, which is about a third of the way through. And I'm liking it so far. I do want more interactions between her and her ex-boyfriend. They dated when they were 12 and then things ended weirdly. Don't really know what happened. But her ex, Henry, is now living next door, and Taylor is very much into him again. They obviously have this tension, and so I'm actually like wanting more interactions between them to see where this is going to go. And yeah, I want to know like exactly what happened in the past that she feels really guilty about, and Henry and her best friend at the time, Lucy, are both like kind of mad at her. So don't know what she did, but we will find out, I would assume. So yeah, I want to read it for like that purpose, but I just know that like the further we get into it, the sadder it's gonna get with like the dad stuff. So yeah, we will see. So I finished reading Second Chance Summer this morning. This one took me longer to read than I thought it would, because I picked it up, and even though it is like 460 something pages, I was like, it's a contemporary YA. Normally I can read those quite quickly. But the further I got into this book, the more I didn't want to read it. Not because it was bad. You go into this knowing that like it's not gonna end nicely for the dad character or for like the family. But the further and further I got into the book, like the more ill the dad became, and it just made me not want to pick it up. But then that was silly because I was reading like, you know, a few chapters a day and going, that's enough for today. And then the next day I'd read a few more chapters and be like, that's enough for today. And I just wasn't finishing it, even though I was getting closer and closer to the end, and I didn't actually have like that many pages left in the grand scheme of things for like the past few days I was reading it. I was like, I just need to finish it because I can't keep putting it off, because eventually I'm just going to have to read the sad bits. So this morning I just was like, let's read the last 100 pages, let's go. And I did, and oh, it was rough. Those last like 30 to 40 pages, I think I just cried continuously throughout. Very sad, very sad. Very touching though. It was very affecting towards the end. I feel like I can't talk too much, otherwise I'm going to want to cry again. But see, this is the thing, because like in general, I liked this book. I thought the characters were likeable, and like the summer romance was cute, and when they were going from that like tentative, we've not seen each other in years, to like maybe we could be friends, to like being more than friends, I was like really invested, and I was like looking forward to their interactions, and I was like, ooh, what's gonna happen next time they meet at the dock? and it was very fun. It took me back to like the teen years of mine when I would read Morgan Matson, and that was really fun. And I really liked that, and I thought the like summer setting was very fun. Got caught up in the summer atmosphere. Was really enjoying that. It's been really nice weather this week, so I think that's helped because I like read outside for a bit, and so reading about them being like on the dock or going for walks, I was like, this is lovely. But it is sort of just like a cute, fun 3-star. Nothing amazing, but still entertaining. Did what I wanted it to do. But then those last like few chapters really got me emotionally. But I don't know if that's necessarily like because of the writing per se, or it's just because of the subject matter, you know. So I'm like, should I bump it up because of that? Because like the ending is like the most emotional I felt about an ending to a book for a long time, or like this made me cry so much compared to like other books I've read recently. Like the last book that made me cry this much was quite a while ago to my recollection. So like, should I boost it because I had such an emotional reaction to the ending? I think I will. It doesn't get a full star. So I think I'd give it like a 3.5, 3.75 because I did just have such a reaction to the end. But yeah, if you want a mixture of like fun summer book about like reconnecting with like past friends and having like a summer romance and like the cute side of things, you get that in here. And if you want just like an absolutely devastating family drama, you get that in here too. And I think it does balance that quite well. It didn't feel jarring. And yeah, I had an interesting time with it with this one. I sent this to my sister, like a picture of this book, and she was like, wow, that seems so cute and fun and summery. And I was like, it's made me sob. And she was like, what the hell is in this book? But yeah, I'm glad I read this. It's been on my TBR for ages, so I'm glad I picked the TBR card prompt to read a book with a season in the title. Second Chance Summer was a good pick, I think. Now I need to pick my next TBR card, which I guess I'll just do now. Why would I stop filming and then do another clip? Let's just do it now. Gotta get them. So we had choose a book with a season title. That is going away, not going back in the pack. And then I'm pulling from the pack. And the next prompt is, I hope something that I can pick a happy book for. Choose a book which alternates narrators or timelines. So, yes. Choose a book which alternates narrators or timelines. I think I probably have both somewhere on my TBR shelves. I'm going to have a look. I will let you know what I pick. It's going to be interesting.
After how sad the ending to Second Chance Summer was, I want something more fun or more lighthearted. So I think I'm gonna take the like more than one narrator aspect of this last prompt and see if any of my like contemporary romance books are maybe dual perspective, and see if that works. So this is my like more contemporary romance section. None of these seem to be dual perspective, or if they are, it's not like obviously stated. But Done and Dusted does seem to start each chapter with like either Emmy or Luke written by the chapter headers, which would lead me to believe that it is a dual narrative. So I'm gonna pull this off my shelves. This is good because this is a newer one that I've been really excited about and just not been getting around to, so gotta get to it now. I've been reading Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This is about Emmy, who has sort of uprooted her life. She's a professional horse racer but had an accident recently, and so she sort of like left her job for the time being at least. She left the sort of questionable boyfriend she had, and she's gone back to her hometown, which growing up she always wanted to leave, and she finally got out of there, and so it's a bit weird for her to go back to her two brothers and her dad and her brother's best friend who helps out on the ranch and who's sort of grown up with them. And she and this guy, Luke, brother's best friend, have always sort of been in each other's lives but not got along brilliantly. She thinks he's a bit of an asshole. He sort of just sees her as his best friend's little sister. He feels protective of her but knows that she doesn't particularly like him. And they sort of have to deal with now being in each other's lives more directly. And, you know, they start to like each other. I'm like 2/3 of the way through this. It's very readable. I only started it not yesterday, day before, in the evening, and read like 40 or so pages, and then read like a good chunk more of it yesterday, and I think today I'm going to try and finish it because it's very readable. I'm enjoying their scenes together, Emmy and Luke, and just wanting to see how their relationship develops. They have had sex for the first time, so that's obviously changed their dynamic a bit. But yeah, I am liking them together for the most part. He is a bit protective for my liking. I like protective characters in books, but he's a bit much. There's like a guy at the bar who touched her knee, and like, to be fair, she moved that guy's hand off her and he put it back on her. But then Luke just like punches him, grabs him by the collar, shoves him out the bar, and then like picks Emmy up and takes her into the office. And I'm like, it's a bit much. It's a bit much. And also, I'm not sure about the way that he talks during the sex scenes, because he, for the most part, when talking to people, is like quite polite, even if his like internal thoughts aren't necessarily. But he checks in with people, and he does check in with her during the sex scenes. He's like, tell me now if you want to stop, tell me now that if you want to stop later you will let me know. And that was great. I really liked that. But his dirty talk is just a little intense sometimes when I don't think that's like how his character feels. And I get that some people are obviously different when they're in different positions, in different places in their life. It's very different from, you know, talking professionally in the stables to during a sex scene. But there's just something, I don't know, that it feels natural to his character to me. But otherwise the sex scenes are alright. I like Emmy as a character. I think she is nice. And I really like her friend Teddy as a character. I think she's very interesting. The middle brother, Wes,
is a bit of a nothing character. He's nice, but he's like there's not much to him at the moment. But I know that book 2 is about him, and then book 3 is about Teddy, Emmy's best friend, and Emmy's older brother Gus. And that really intrigues me actually, because in this so far, Teddy and Gus don't like each other, and they have like really harsh banter, and they always like take jabs and jibes at each other. And even though they're not nice to each other, I quite like their dynamic, so I'm excited to read book 3 of this series, and see their dynamic play out in full romance. I'm liking it, and I want to continue. I already know I want to continue on with the series, which is good. I've got like 100 pages left, so I'm going to try and finish that today. Like I said, it's very readable, finding it very quick to read, and yeah, I'm liking it. It's not like the best romance I've ever read, but I'm enjoying it. I'm getting caught up in the story and the romance, so enjoying it. I will probably just update you when I'm done then. Yesterday I finished reading Done and Dusted, and I liked this one. It was pretty much just what I wanted, a cute, quick, contemporary cowboy romance. Yeah, it's sort of one of those books that does what it says on the tin in a way. I was never fully sold on the dirty talk in the sex scenes, just because of how Luke is like portrayed. I think I said before, he just comes across as like very polite, caring, sensitive, like has a few, dirtier thoughts when we're in his perspective, in his narrative voice, but he's always very just like kind and polite, and then yeah, is very not like that during the sex scenes, and isn't even like gets into it, just is just like that from the get-go. So I was never fully sold on that. Also, we're told that Luke is a bad boy, like on the synopsis, but also like by the characters of like he had a bad boy past and stuff like that. But then within the story, like I said, he's very polite, very sort of respectable. Yes, in the past he like got into fights and stuff, and I mean he does like threaten a guy who is hitting on Emmy, but other than that, I didn't see the bad boy-ness. He, if anything, was like a reformed bad boy, but then I'm like, why are we still being told he's a bad boy if he's not like that anymore? But otherwise, I enjoyed it. It was a quick read. It was just what I wanted. I'd be interested in continuing with the series. I said before, book 2 is about Wes, which is like the middle brother, the middle sibling. We've got Gus, Wes, and Emmy. This book was about Emmy. So the next book is about Wes and like an old college friend of Teddy's, and Teddy is Emmy's best friend. So that would be like a new character coming into it. And then book 3 is about Gus, the eldest sibling, and Teddy, and they've got a very tense relationship. They don't really like each other, but they sort of know how to handle each other. So I think that could be a really interesting dynamic. I liked their interactions, like the few interactions you get between Teddy and Gus, and I think that's why I'm intrigued by that book. Gus annoyed me towards the end. He's very like overprotective of Emmy, and when he finds out about Luke and Emmy, he's just like really mad. And I get that if you grew up with a friend who was a bit of a bad boy in the past, you would be maybe a bit worried about your sister. I understand that it would also just generally be weird if your best friend and your sibling got together. I would find that weird. But the way he acted was a little too much for me. I was like, calm down, my guy. That we're all adults here. But yeah, and then there's also going to be a 4th book, which is going to be about the mother of Gus's daughter, So Gus and Camille had like a one-night stand, and she got pregnant, and they decided to keep the baby and like raise her and just be like good friends and co-parents. But the fourth book is about her and a romance with her. So yeah, I would definitely continue on with the series. If you want a cowboy romance, I would recommend this one. Just like any cute contemporary romance with like some stakes but pretty low stakes. There's not a ton of plot in here other than Emmy learning to like get over her fear of riding again and competing in another race, but that's like pretty much it. A successful read. I think I would give this like 3.25, 3.5 stars. It wasn't the best thing I've ever read, but was enjoyable nonetheless. Okay, so now that was choose a book which alternates narrators or timelines. It alternated narrators. We got both Luke and Emmy's perspective. So it's time to pull another card. I think this is going to be my last one, so let's hope it's a good prompt that I can easily follow. So we have, oh my goodness, choose a book written by 2 authors. I don't think I have one. I don't think I have one on my shelf, so I'm going to pick a different card. Oh my goodness. Okay, choose a book where the blurb starts with a name. Okay, so this one's going to really involve me looking through my books properly, getting them off the shelves. Can't just look at the titles, the covers. I'm going to have to get them off and yeah, see if the blurb synopsis starts with a name. My goodness, right. I'm going on a hunt. I will let you know if I have anything, what I have. I'm sure I can find something from my TBR, so yes. To my shelves.
Okay, I'm thinking a good place to start might be like the contemporary and the romance section, so let's have a little look. Yeah, Faye is about to be given the chance to escape the city's blistering heat. We've got a name there. No, the name is there, but not at the very beginning. Let's have a look. Chloe, yeah, Chloe Brown is an option. Hating game. Lucy. Oh my goodness, nailing it. Naomi Grant. Olive. Nora. I said this would be a good section. Charlie. There we go. Right, okay. I have lots of options in contemporary romance, but like, do I have something that's not, in case that's not what I want to read right now? No. No. Blythe and Violet, that's an option. Let's see. What else could we do? Maybe something more literary. No. No. Maybe this one. No. Okay. Those I don't really want to read right now. Let's travel. Let's travel. Up here. Okay, I know this is romance, but at least it's different. Marielle, that's the name. So this has the name of the title. No, this is Halloween. Maybe no. Maybe this one. Nope. Do I want to try a thriller? Sierra and Oliver. Oh, there. That's got a bit before it. Never mind. Let's just take these as options. And then we'll like discuss what I should actually pick. I have my options, and I'm just going to go through either like no or maybeing them from immediate instinct. Unhoney Mooners, it's summer, so this could be a good one for currently. So it's going to be a maybe. Book club is same thing. This feels summery. I feel like I want another quick read, and I've read the past couple of Emily Henry I've read really quickly, so that's a maybe. Save the Date, I'm gonna say no because I just read well, the book before last, the first book in this video, was Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson, so I'm gonna say no to a second Morgan Matson. The Push, I feel like this could be a little intense because it's about difficult mother-daughter relationships, and that sounds quite intense and not particularly summery, so not that. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. I do like the idea of, in this vlog, reading something that's not just straight up contemporary. Obviously this is about witches and demons, so it has that fantasy magical element, and would at least add something slightly different to this video, so it's a maybe. It's a maybe. Again, You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty is like a summery read, so it could be one for now, so that's a maybe. Get Life Chloe Brown, I do really want to read, but I have the third book in this series, I think, but not the second book, or I have like one of the other books in the trilogy, and I sort of want to read them when I have all three, and obviously hope I like this one. So I'm going to say no to that for right now. The Hating Game I have actually read before, years ago, and I loved it, so I bought a copy because I originally read it from the library, and I do want to reread it, but I don't know that now is the right time, and I think I want a new to me book to talk about, so I'm going to say no to that. Intimacy Experiment, I'm going to say no, because while I think this would be a really quick read, it is a sequel, it's a companion, and I don't really want to read technically the second book in the series on here, so I'm going to say no to that. So these are our options. I think my instinct is to say no to the Unhoneymooners, actually. So I don't know. It's between these three. I have been reading Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I decided to go for this one because it's been a while since I've read an Emily Henry. I read one last year in September, and I have two on my shelves. I have this and Happy Place, and these just feel like books I need to read in the summer, so I thought if I didn't get around to reading an Emily Henry this summer, by next summer, like, her next paperback would be out, and then I'd just be accumulating Emily Henry books. So that was my decision for why to go for Book Lovers. So this is about Nora, who is a literary agent, and Charlie, who is an editor, and they have their first meeting and they don't get along, they don't really like each other, or they both have like stuff going on and are very grumpy towards each other. And then we cut to years later. Charlie has joined, I believe, the literary agency where Nora works, but they don't see a ton of each other. They just every now and then have to interact. And Nora's sister Libby is like obsessed with one of these books that one of the authors that Nora is an agent for has written, and the setting in that book is this place called Sunshine Falls, and Libby's like, before I have my next baby, I want to go on holiday there, and I want you to come with me, and I want us to get away. And Nora agrees because she thinks she and Libby have been like drifting apart a bit, or they're not as connected as they used to be. And so she's like, this will be our way to connect again and things will go back to normal. So they go away, and while they're there, who should Nora bump into but Charlie? And that's pretty much where I'm up to. I've got their like first interactions of actually like realizing that each other are there, and talking about that. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I was like, it was taking me a bit to get into it, but ever since Nora and Charlie have like met again and have been chatting and interacting and stuff, I'm so invested. I really like the way Emily Henry has written their banter. I I just really like Charlie as a character. I think he's very fun. I like, yeah, the way he talks, their interactions, the potential tension they have. Yeah, I'm very here for it. It's one of those books that, like, even though I'm currently in the middle of like them interacting, I'm just really looking forward to the next time they interact. Like I'm really like wanting to get back to this scene of them interacting, and then when they part, I'm just going to be waiting for them to interact again because I really like their vibe. Enjoying this one so far. Glad I chose it. Hoping I can read it quite quickly because I've previously read the other two books I read by Emily Henry, Beach Read and You and Me on Vacation. I read quickly. So, yeah. I want to get back to reading this now, so I'll finish this clip here. We have nice weather again, so I've come for a little walk and I brought my book with me and I found a bench and I decided to sit and read for a bit. I'm just having a good old time with this. I said it before, I'll say it again. I really like it. I really like Nora and Charlie and their banter and like the way they talk to each other. I think they have good chemistry. The scenes where they've like started to get a little romantic have been very cute and steamy. And even though they then cut things off, like I'm just waiting for the next interaction between them. And like I think Emily Henry like spaces those interactions well, so we have like other stuff going on, we have other interactions between like Nora and her sister, Nora and the people she meets in town, but Charlie is always like, the next interaction with Charlie is never far behind, so I'm not sat going, just get back to Charlie. But yeah, I'm really liking it and I'm over halfway through now, just like whizzing through it, having a really good time, so that's good. Yesterday evening I finished reading Book Lovers. I think you can tell from all my previous clips talking about this, but I really liked it. The ending went in the direction I thought it was going in, so that was like all good. I still enjoyed it even though I sort of predicted where it was going. I really liked Nora and Charlie as characters. I really liked them together. When I first heard about the book, I'd heard people saying that Nora's not like your typical likeable main character in a rom-com, and I know that that is like literally part of the plot, that people see Nora as maybe like a little bit uptight, set in her ways, like overly organized, wanting things to be a certain way, and like that is a part of her character, her story, her growth, her like realizations in the book. But I'd heard people say it made it hard to connect to her. I didn't find that. I loved Nora from the get-go. And I don't know if it's because like I have a younger sister and Nora has a younger sister, and so Nora's whole thing is being like protective of her younger sister and wanting to make sure that she's okay. And even though I'm not the eldest sibling, I do have an older brother. Like Nora and her sister and me and my sister are similar age differences. And so I don't know if I really connected to the sisterly relationship as well. Sister storyline will just, it'll get me. So I liked that aspect, although I found it frustrating when they weren't communicating, but again, that's part of the plot. So yeah, I liked the sister dynamic and I liked Nora and Charlie's dynamic, and just thought it all came together really nicely. I really liked it. I think this is my favourite Emily Henry, so far at least. I read Beach Read a few years ago and gave that 4 stars, really enjoyed that one. Then last year I read You and Me on Vacation, People We Meet on Vacation, and gave it 3 stars. Enjoyed it, but didn't love it as much as I liked Beach Read. And I was a bit worried that I was like, oh no, even though 3 stars is still good and I still had a good time with it, I was like, is
like I'd built myself up to being like, Emily Henry is going to be for me, and then it being rated lower than my last Emily Henry was a bit like I'm not sure. So I was excited to go into this, but also slightly hesitant, but I ended up really enjoying it. It wasn't quite a 5-star, because there were points where I thought like we could maybe be moving this on like a little bit snappier, or yeah, just a couple of things that didn't entirely work for me. But overall, really liked it. It's like a really, really solid 4-star, 4.5 star. Not quite a 5, but like up there. One of my favourite books I've read so far this year. So yeah, this this whole TBR card thing really worked out for me, because I read Second Chance Summer, and so that was a book that I'd been meaning to get to for ages, and this like really prompted me to, and I read it in the summer, and that was nice. Then reading Done and Dusted was a book that I'd got this year, so it was prompting me to get to one of my more recent purchases sooner rather than letting it linger on my shelves, and I wanted like a fun romance, and that's what I got. And then it prompted me to read an Emily Henry that had been sitting on my shelves for a while, again in the summer, perfect time for it, and it ended up being a book I really enjoyed. So we had 3 really great reads overall. I'm so happy with how this went, and it meant that like I sort of mood read but was guided to my reading, which I think is the way I like to do it. So yes, very happy with everything from this video. Have you read any of these books? What did you think? Would you like to see another of these TBR cards? Choose my TBR, because I think I'd like to do it again. But yeah, do let me know in the comments below, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye.